David Langston was a man who had everything: power, wealth, and influence. As the CEO of a global tech empire, he lived in a sprawling hilltop mansion that overlooked the city, like a silent king watching over his empire. But despite his success, David's life was empty. The long hallways of his mansion echoed with silence, and his nights were filled with nothing but flickering television screens and untouched glasses of wine. At 38, he had built an empire, but no one to share it with. That changed when Eliza arrived. She came quietly, hired through a domestic agency as a maid. She wasn't flashy or overly talkative like the others had been. Elisa wore modest clothes, kept her dark hair tied back in a braid, and avoided unnecessary conversation. She was respectful, distant, but something about her presence made the air in the house feel warmer. At first, David didn't pay her much attention. He was used to staff coming and going, faces blending together in a blur of schedules and tasks. But Eliza was different. She didn't try to impress him or laugh at his jokes. She simply did her job, and did it well. One stormy evening, a sudden power outage swept through the estate. David, annoyed and searching for candles, found Eliza already in the kitchen, calmly lighting one after another. Her face glowed softly in the candlelight, and for the first time David noticed her eyes, tired, but kind. "Not afraid of storms?" he asked casually. Eliza looked up, her voice quiet. "Only the kind that last." From that night on, something shifted between them. David began finding excuses to be in the same room with her. He noticed how gently she treated his aging golden retriever, Max, or how she hummed softly while dusting the bookshelves lullabies he didn't recognize. She moved with grace and purpose, always present but never invasive. He started asking questions, personal ones, Eliza answered, but always kept her guard up. She had no family, she said. Her parents were gone, and she had once studied nursing before financial troubles pulled her into work she never expected to do. Her younger brother was sick. She was trying to save for his medical care. David began to care, deeply. He looked forward to the soft clink of her cleaning tools, to the quiet footsteps in the hallway. I had brought something into his home. He hadn't felt in years warmth. One night he invited her to stay for dinner. She hesitated. "That's not appropriate, sir." "It's David," he corrected gently. "And neither is eating alone in a house this big." The dinner turned into many. They laughed, talked about childhood memories, shared simple joys, music, food, the books they loved. Slowly, David fell in love, not with her appearance, but with the calm, steady peace she brought into his otherwise chaotic world. And Eliza, despite her fears, began to feel the same. Then came the night it all changed. They shared their first kiss under the soft glow of the garden lights. It was tender and hesitant, a kiss not rushed by passion but filled with emotion. David looked at her afterward and whispered, "You don't have to be afraid." But fear was already inside her. The next morning Eliza was gone, no note. Explanation? Her room was empty, her belongings gone. The agency claimed she had resigned without notice. David was left stunned and heartbroken, checked hospitals, shelters, even hired a private investigator. Nothing. 2 weeks passed. Then, a single envelope arrived at the mansion, dressed in careful handwriting. Inside was a letter. "David, I'm sorry I disappeared without saying goodbye. I couldn't face you after what I've done. I didn't take the job at your house because I needed the work. I took it because someone paid me to. There's a man powerful, bitter, and connected to your past business rivalries. He promised to cover my brother's life-saving treatment if I could get close to you, spy on you, collect evidence, plant devices. At first I told myself it was just work, just a way to survive. But then I met you, and everything changed. I never planted the devices. I couldn't betray the man who showed me kindness when I expected cruelty. I fell in love with you, and it ruined the plan. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted to tell you the truth before disappearing for good, Eliza." Asterisk, asterisk. David read the letter over and over again. Betrayal. Heartbreak. But beneath it all, love, real, complicated love, He could have hunted her down, used his money, his connections, but he didn't. He let her go, respecting her choice, her pain, and the sacrifice she made to protect him. Instead, he did something no one expected. He used his wealth to build a nonprofit, foundation dedicated to helping women like Eliza. Women caught in desperate situations, making impossible choices. He named the first facility in honor of someone he'd once loved and lost. 2 years later, during the opening of a new women's clinic funded by the foundation, David arrived unannounced to cut the ribbon. As he walked the halls, watching volunteers, at work, he froze. There she was, Eliza, wearing a simple white coat, helping an elderly woman walk to the recovery room. Her hair was tied back the same way. Her eyes met his. She stopped mid-step. "David," she said, almost breathless. He approached slowly, as if afraid she might disappear again. "You came back?" "No," she whispered. "I never really left. I just had to become someone who could deserve a second chance." He smiled, not with his mouth, but with his entire soul. In the silence that followed, no apology was needed, no explanation, just the quiet understanding between two people who had survived the storm and found each other again on the other side.